Chapter 54 to 55. Yuto returned to the Senju clan grounds and didn't see Tsunade until dusk. After the war mobilization, Hiruzan called another brief meeting with the village leaders. "The old man is getting a bit senile, isn't he?" Tsunade plopped down on the tatami mat, her tone tinged with a sigh. "He's getting more and more long-winded." Sigh. "Sensei, will you be going to the battlefield this time?" "It depends on the situation. Most of the time, I'll be forming and training the medical corps in the rear. But if the situation becomes dire, I'll definitely go to the front lines. After all, I am a shinobi of Konoha." The blonde woman rubbed her neck and lay down, stretching like a cat, pointing her toes towards a certain spot in the room. "My dear disciple, that package is for you." Yuto picked up the package and found it was full of clothes, embroidered with the crests of the Senju and Hyuga clans. "Custom made for you, using the finest materials from the land of lightning. Oh, and I left a box in your room. It's filled with 1,000 explosive tags. Practicing Great Uncle's technique consumes quite a lot." "Thank you, Sensei," Yuto expressed his gratitude. Tsunade paused for a moment before continuing. "You're leaving tomorrow?" "Yes, I've been assigned to the Konoha Reconnaissance Unit, directly under Minato-senpai. We'll be heading to the land of hot water in the morning. Although Minato is young, he's capable of handling things on his own. Yuto, remember, once you're on the battlefield, you can't treat him like the gentle senpai who guides you in ninjutsu. You must absolutely obey his orders. Of course, don't be a fool either. It's not bad to keep an eye on things." Tsunade shared her wartime experiences, and Yuto listened intently. Time passed slowly, and soon it was completely dark. "All right, that's about it. Yuto, don't let the village down." "Yes, Sensei." The branch family boy bowed solemnly. "I should get going now. Hiyashi-sama asked me to come by tonight." Tsunade grunted non-committally, then softly said, "Wait a moment." She hesitated for a while before turning away from Yuto. "The last time the world fell into war, 2 men very important to me left me forever." The blonde woman's voice was soft. "Don't die, Yuto." Yuto knelt silently before Hiyashi Hyuga, quiet and still. "Ah, Yuto-kun, no need to be so formal," Hiyashi sighed. "Now, you are an outstanding shinobi, a jonin at the age of 13. I've heard that in the Warring States period, people your age could already get engaged," he joked. "Do you have any girl in mind within the clan?" "Hiyashi-sama," Yuto's voice was calm. "I haven't considered such matters yet. You young people are too tense, no vitality at all." Hiyashi shook his head, then his tone turned serious. "Yuto-kun, you've been assigned to the reconnaissance unit?" "Yes, Hiyashi-sama." "You are a jonin, so you will either act as a lone hawk responsible only to Minato Namikaze or lead a team. Either way, the responsibilities are significant." Hiyashi took a sip of tea, speaking each word clearly. "Yuto, Vice Commander Namikaze is exceptional, but he doesn't have a Kekkei Genkai and doesn't understand the Byakugan. Therefore, sometimes our own people are more trustworthy." "You're right, Hiyashi-sama. In critical moments, I will prioritize the interests of the Hyuga clan." "Good, it's excellent that you have this awareness. Your parents were the same, understanding the greater good and willing to sacrifice for the clan. This is the secret to the prosperity of the Hyuga clan." Hiyashi expressed a few sentiments, then clapped his hands. "You all, come out. Yuto-kun, raise your head." Several young figures emerged from hidden doors within the room, all young Hyuga without forehead protectors, proudly showing their unmarked foreheads. They were all from the main family. Shinosuke Hyuga and Meiko Hyuga were among them. Hiyashi's voice rang out again. "The delicate sapling grows into a towering tree because of its strong trunk. The branch family is the twigs and leaves. The main family is the trunk. Yuto, these young members of the main family will also go to war with the unit. Like all Hyuga shinobi, you must protect them with your life, acting as the shield and sword of the main family, maximizing your abilities. Oh, this is Shinosuke and Meiko. You've met them at the Hokage's residence. Say hello. You should all get to know each other better. Shinosuke approached Yuto and extended his hand. The jewel of the Hyuga, Yuto-kun. We meet again. I hear you're a jonin now. Haha. I'll be counting on you for my safety. Yuto stood up, his face expressionless. I will stake my life on it. Good. With that promise, I'm reassured. Shinosuke patted Yuto's shoulder, the atmosphere amicable. But then, Shinosuke suddenly reached up and lightly touched his own forehead, a faint, mocking smile on his face. You haven't forgotten that pain, have you, Yuto? Yuto silently stepped back, greeting each of the main family youths, memorizing every detail of their faces. All right, Hiyashi waved his hand. Yuto-kun, you may leave now. Rest well. I remember you leave the village tomorrow. Yes, Hiyashi-sama. Yuto left the hall, the expressions of the main family members inside unchanged. That night they would remind and suppress many branch family members. Yuto was just one among them. Suppress, recruit, warn, punish, reward. These methods of controlling the branch family were something the main family had perfected, more so than their gentle fist technique. After all, the main family had been doing this for 1,000 years. Whenever they heard others praise the Inuzuka clan as the #1 dog-taming clan in the shinobi world, the Hyuga main family found it amusing. Taming people was far more technically demanding than taming dogs. Yuto walked through the night in Konoha. This was the night before departure, a time for older shinobis to give earnest advice and for spouses to hold each other tightly. Even someone as high-ranking as Hirozan probably wouldn't sleep well tonight. However, Yuto's steps were light and brisk. Inside, he felt an unparalleled joy, as if he'd won the lottery. Though something is a bit lacking, Yuto muttered to himself. He reached into his pouch, feeling and tapping it lightly. Ding! A crisp sound echoed at his fingertips, the sound of a small glass bottle shaking, slightly muffled by the preserving liquid inside. A grin spread across his face, tinged with a bit of madness. It seems I didn't buy enough. Yuto stepped on a thin branch of a large tree, his Byakugan revealing no anomalies. He quickly left, running forward, and every kilometer he would lightly slash the trunk of a tree with a kunai coated in special paint. The main force following him would see this signal and know that this path was safe, with at least no large-scale enemy ambushes. This was the 3rd day since the advance team had left the village. At Yuto's speed, this time would have been enough for him to run back and forth across the land of fire several times. But at this moment, the branch family youth had only just glimpsed the border of the land of fire. The war between nations, between shinobi villages, was not the same as a shinobi mission. Simply increasing speed recklessly was tantamount to seeking death. The Konoha advance team was led by Minato Namikaze, consisting of 2 main components, reconnaissance and tactical assault. The total number was not large, around 400, but it was filled with elite members. With strategic importance from the Byakugan, the highly powerful Sharingan, the most unpredictable attacks from the Aburami clan, the Inuzuka clan specialized in tracking, and civilian shinobi as sacrifices. Just from the Hyuga clan alone, 3 jonin, including Yuto, were part of the advance team. Though the Hyuga clan had committed more forces to the main team led by Orochimaru, the advance team was more elite in terms of proportion, with hardly any genin present. After all, the advance team's task was to gather intelligence and eliminate key targets, certainly leading to clashes with enemy elites. If Minato's side had problems, the main force led by Orochimaru would also suffer. Yuto's task was to scout at the 2 o'clock direction as the vanguard of the vanguard. Besides him, there were experts scouting in every direction. He remembered that the 1 o'clock direction was handled by a jonin from the Uchiha clan. Though Minato is inexperienced, he is methodical in his approach. The 400 people in the advance team, none of whom were easy to deal with, were all made to follow orders without any issues during the march. "Yuto-kun." As Yuto stood by a tree, a voice suddenly sounded beside him. He turned to see Minato holding a specially crafted kunai with a technique inscribed on the handle, smiling brightly at him. As the vanguard of the advance team, Yuto and 7 others carried a flying thunder god kunai with them. Minato used the godlike power of space-time ninjutsu to shuttle back and forth along the entire route, which was a crucial reason for his ability to control his subordinates effectively. "Commander!" Yuto stood up straight. Minato lightly bumped Yuto's shoulder with his fist. "Looking good, Yuto-kun. Your chakra is very calm, not at all like someone on their first mission." "Thanks for the compliment. I'm calm because we haven't encountered the enemy yet." "We will soon." Minato pointed ahead to a dense forest that marked the border. "We're at the boundary between the land of fire and the land of hot water. Knowing the nature of those Kumo shinobi, an ambush could happen at any moment. Slow down a bit, Yuto-kun. Maintain an appropriate support distance from the advance team. But we have you, Commander." Minato smiled wryly and shook his head. "The flying thunder god isn't omnipotent. I can't know exactly what you're facing. Yuto-kun, take a break for a minute before setting off again." "Understood, Commander." Minato vanished from sight, instantly appearing beside another Konoha Jonin far away. Yuto felt a bit envious. Space-time ninjutsu was truly advanced. Mastering any type could establish one's fame in the shinobi world. If Minato were a bit more unscrupulous, he could carve his technique marks near enemies and harass them incessantly from dawn to dusk. Imagine, just as you were happily eating oden and singing, a handsome man suddenly teleported behind you, delivering a Rasengan before disappearing. Even if not killed on the spot, constantly guarding against such attacks would be exhausting. Currently, even if Minato couldn't defeat an enemy, he could always escape, placing him almost invincible. The only way to kill him would be to lure him into a deadly trap. Yuto sighed, stretching his ankles, ready to move again. Over the past few days, Yuto had noticed that the morale of the Konoha forces was quite high. Though many shinobi were nervous or even scared, overall, most believed that the ultimate victory would belong to Konoha and the Land of Fire. This judgment was well-founded. The Land of Fire had the most fertile land, the largest population, and the strongest economy in the world. Their supplies and tactical equipment were far superior to other great nations. Moreover, at this time, Konoha had an abundance of top-tier shinobi, the peak-era Hiruzan Sarutobi, the prime-time Sannin, Danzo Shimura, Minato Namikaze, totaling 6 high-caliber shinobi. If things got desperate, Kushina Uzumaki was the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. Releasing the tailed beast was a doomsday move, sacrificing both sides. Furthermore, if the village was truly on the brink of destruction, Konoha would undoubtedly use Impure World reincarnation to revive powerful shinobi for a final stand. When faced with the executioner's blade, moral concerns would naturally diminish. At that time, no one could have imagined the war would last 3 full years, claiming so many powerful lives and causing events that reshaped the world. As Yuto daydreamed, a minute had passed. Following Minato's orders, he marked another signal on the tree he had rested on and sprinted forward. This time, Yuto was much more cautious. The closer to the border, the more dangerous it became. Kumogakure was known for its martial prowess and reckless behavior, requiring constant vigilance. Keeping his Byakugan active, Yuto crossed the border. Boom. Ha! Attacking right at the border, no wonder they call you lightning brutes. Yuto dodged an attack from an enemy emerging from underground, laughing as he mocked them. Despite his outward confidence, he was very cautious. This team of Kumo shinobi had positioned themselves just outside the range of his Byakugan, indicating careful planning. A tactic against the Konoha advance team. The branch family youth landed on the ground, striking the center of the enemy's encirclement like a hammer. He tore off his right sleeve, revealing a black bandage wrapped around his arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 Kumo heads as my first achievement, not too shabby.